here. Hey everybody, it's Maggie. I am here with Lori Panarello. We are in London at the KMS shoot for 2016, and Lori is taking a break from her very, very cool shoot to show us how to get volume at the crown. So I am going to turn around and Lori, take a second. There you go.
Hi, how are you? So a lot of times some of the challenges we're faced with in the salon is how to get volume in the crown. Sometimes we have a long hair client or a shorter hair client and they want volume but they don't want a lot of layers. So I had to think about how I was going to create that technique, how do we achieve that? And I thought to myself, well, one of the ways, one thing that we know for sure is that short bits support long bits and that disconnection removes weight and allows for volume. So I came up with this little technique, lifting the hair and back cutting out some bits, and it creates instant volume. I have a little mannequin here that I just took, and I started to create a little bit of it just to show you how you can see we have some lift already. But I'm going to go in from the high point of the head, and I'm just going to take out a little section just where it starts to lay at the parietal ridge, and I'm going to comb it up nice and smooth, and I'm going to over direct it forward. From there, I'm going to go in with the heel of the shear, and I'm just going to start to back cut down until I start to see the weight come out of it. And when I release it, I get instant pop in the crown.
Wow. Even I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's, thank you. So I would just work my way around in like pivot sections, small, very thin pivot sections. You don't want this to be a chunky texture. We want it to be really nice and fluid. And again, I'm opening and closing my shear just very lightly. And when I think I have enough weight removed, I'm just going to comb it down, and we get instant volume.
Okay, a couple questions. Number one, the comb. Hold that up, and people want to know who's the comb by.
So this is YS Park, and I always use a very long comb because I don't want the comb to interfere with the combing of the section, and so it allows me to really use my hands very fluidly and lift things away, and it allows me to get out of the way of what I'm doing. So this is a YS Park comb.
Okay, so somebody just said it looks a little scary, and I was thinking the same thing. How do you prevent from taking out too much hair?
Okay, so when you lift up the section, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look at a section, and in any subsection of hair, we have some points, some sections that are heavier, and some sections that are lighter. So in this section, for instance, this section, this little piece right here is light, so I would kind of peel that back, and I'm just going to go in never below mid-shaft, and I'm just using an opening and closing technique, but I'm never really closing my shear completely. And I'm going to work through. If I see a section that's got a little less weight, I pull it out. And I always want to leave that length intact. I never want to go too far.
Okay, so a couple questions here. Number one, what shears are you using?
I am using Mitsutani.
Okay. Number two, would this work with thinning shears?
You can use it with a thinning shear, but with a thinning shear, what I would do is I would, as opposed to using the heel of the shear, I would use the point of the shear, and I would just peel back the hair using the tip of the shear.
How long does it take to perfect this technique?
It took me a little while. It's a little bit of a finesse in the technique, but what I did was I grabbed any mannequin head that I had laying around the house at the salon, and I practiced and practiced until I got it right. Again, tip. Do not take a very thick section because you'll create a very chunky texture. The finer the texture, the finer the section rather, the finer the texture, and the better the result.
Okay, so somebody keeps asking about dry cutting shears. Are these dry cutting shears? I've never even heard of dry cutting shears. I mean, does that?
Yeah, so yeah, dry cutting shears do exist. This, however, is not a dry cutting shear. A dry cutting shear is going to give you a little bit more of a razored effect, and that's okay because it's a little softer, but you can certainly use a regular shear to create this technique.
Okay, now I know you are the KMS girl, so tell us how you would make it stay. What product would you use and how would you apply it to make it stay?
Okay, so first off, I would definitely prepare, anytime I want volume, I would start with our volume shampoo for sure to start, that gives you the base, the foundation for the look. And then I just went into this particular mannequin and I used our Add Volume Root and Body Lift. and I just sprayed it into the root itself, and then I actually took it and sprayed it right into my hands.
Oh, hang on, let me get this.
Just spray it right into your hands and just work it in. I work it in like hand lotion always, so that it's hitting every part of the hair, and I just start to work it in through. And I'm working it into dry hair, and that's okay. Even though I'm doing dry cutting, it doesn't always have to be 100% dry. It can be 80% dry, 90% dry, and that's all right. You can work this in wet and blow it out, or work it in a little bit dry after you finish the technique and look at the body cape with just a little bit more body.
Okay, so a couple things. People are asking about your very cool shirt. Tell us
Okay.
about this. This is, when I first saw you, I wanted to fix it, and I realized,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's so cool.
So I always like things that are just slightly askew.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do. I like things that are just slightly off kilt. It's where I live comfortably, and it's Alexander McQueen, and I got it in the meatpacking district in New York.
Okay, and that's another thing. Somebody asked, it sounds like you're more New York, because I said we're in
Yes,
London.
yes.
She's from New York.
From New York, yes.
And then let's talk about your hair. Your hair looks pretty cool. Let's give us a side. Give us a
Okay.
side. Very cool.
So,
who does your hair?
Actually, Simon Miller does my hair, and Sana Brado, whoever's available at that moment, whoever I can grab, but either of the two. And it was funny because we were saying this today. I cannot live without gel wax. So if you took my gel wax away, I would have to rethink my life. I think I love it.
And you know what? I'm going to show you guys something. Look who's hiding over here. Do we just slowly say
I'm snooping. I'm watching the Periscope too.
Simon is watching this. So you guys have any more questions? This was very cool. I mean, this is something I think everybody wants to know. Anybody else have any questions? Because Lori, you've been wonderful.
Thank you.
We're going to obviously keep this Periscope up for 24 hours, and I'm going to put it up on YouTube because you gave lots of great information. Anybody else? Well, Lori, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
Very welcome. My
You guys
pleasure.
are wonderful on Periscope. You're wonderful, Lori, and you are too wonderful there, Mr.
Good job, Lori.
Thanks, Simon.
Goodbye from London.
Bye-bye.